I feel like starting the video now. I don't know, I feel like I want my Bandy charity bracelet. I got this bracelet because I was shopping with my sister Faith, and she said, and the lady at the counter said, oh, you want to buy one of these bracelets? Just pick it up for, I don't know, I feel like it was $20 or something, and you give some money to some kids in Africa or something. And I never do those things because I'm always like, one, I don't have the money, I actually don't have the money. I'm trying to save up so I can move out and support myself and everything. But then I was like, today I'm buying clothes, like this lovely shirt that's actually a too big guy shirt and the softest thing ever, so I can spend some money for charity. So this is reminding me to give more and, you know, to care about people that have needs that you don't relate with. Today I'm painting my nails, and yes, I do have a cold. I've been sick for a few days. Thus, you know, no makeup, because I like wearing no makeup, and also comfy shirts. But I have only ever painted my nails once in my life a solid color, which was like last month. I painted them gold, again with the theme of my sister Faith. She also sent me this nail polish. So I painted my nails gold. Now I'm going to paint my nails blue as I do this video with you talking about why I'm a pompous prig. Alright, so it's also about why the bad things about us are also the good things about us. So, this is a pretty color. Whoops. So, the bad things about us are also the good things about us. Whenever things like super annoy you about, or annoy other people about you, they're also probably the reasons that people love you. Ooh, this is going on really nicely. So, for instance, I'm a writer, right, and a filmmaker, storyteller, comic book creator, all in all, storyteller, writer. So I tend to be the most artsy, hipster, pompous person when it comes to watching movies. As all of my siblings will tell you, when I watch movies and we're done with the movie and we get out of the theater, or we're still in the living room from watching a show, I start critiquing the script. I start talking about, probably first, how the women in the film were not realistic and were, you know, it was pretty sexist and they just didn't have good representation. And then I start complaining about how the characters were flat and didn't have good motivation. And I start complaining about how, really, you know, I don't do a ton of cinematography and lighting, because I feel like the one thing that Hollywood does get right these days is cinematography and lighting and special effects. Usually complaining about the characters. So once I move on from the female characters, and usually the utter lack thereof, I start talking about how, you know, the jokes were just so typical, copycats. Like, the writer just kind of wrote what was really obvious to happen, both in comedy and in plot, and they just wrote about what was really obvious, and it just didn't leave a lot of room for surprise, and there wasn't anything really super original. Like, they were just copying everyone else, and that's the problem with the movie industry these days, because they just write what sells tickets, and they don't actually try anything original, and it'll just sell because it's part of a franchise, or blah 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 blah, and I go on and on. And, you know, the villain, he was just evil for the sake of evil, and it wasn't a realistic portrayal of blah 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 blah, and people just get to the point where they're like, Hope, stop. I can go on and on. I can go on and on about how people only hire, most of the main characters in films are in their 20s and 30s, like supermodels. Anyway, so so then I guess the point where it's like, okay, if you're gonna watch a movie with Hope, you're just gonna know that she's gonna start critiquing everything about it. Or if I read a book, I just critique everything about it, and it's just pretty annoying. I mean, I try to dial it back, but sometimes it just comes out. And the other day, I was editing somebody's novel, and I'm not a good novel editor, as in I'm not super good at, you know, checking all of your colons and semicolons. I'm not the person to check on grammar, punctuation, etc. But when it comes to story and characters, I am a good, if I do this to myself, I can be a good proofreader and everything like that. In fact, I'm a very good art critic, as we've just talked about, and will analyze everything about your story. So this girl has hiring me to be like, sort of like a story editor, you might say. I can't edit your grammar, but I can edit your story. And I'm going through her book, and I get it's kind of therapeutic for me to go through a book that I don't like the way it's written and be able to give feedback that will maybe then change the story. So I can say, this character is flat, that doesn't make sense with her motivation, or, oh, your females all sort of sound the same, it's not good character representation, they need to sound distinct from each other. Oh, this villain is just evil for the sake of evil, where's his motivation coming from? Does he love her, does he not love her? Let's make this relationship more complicated. And they go on and on. Things that I think and I say every time I watch a movie, but what's exciting about it is that this person may actually take these tips and improve their story. So I started realizing that something really annoying about me, maybe one of the worst traits about me, being a pompous prig when it comes to stories, is actually one of the best traits about me and very helpful when I'm actually reading other people's stories or reading my own stories. Like, that's one of the reasons that I'm driven to write stories, is because I see a lack of certain types of stories in everywhere, and so I am driven to create those stories, or to help create those stories, so your worst traits can be your best traits, and that doesn't just apply to stories. Like, I remember the first place I heard about this whole thing about your worst traits can be your best traits is when my grandma was giving me advice on finding a future significant other, and she said, sometimes the things that annoy you most about them are going to be the things that you love the most as well. Everyone has those things. My grandpa, she says, is always super late to everything. He doesn't, make sure things get done. Maybe there's projects around the house that she wants to get done, and maybe he's not very fast about getting them done, and that really frustrates her, and she's like, we're going to be late, you never get things done. But her favorite thing about him is how relaxed he is. When she'll get tense or worried about things, he's just like, it's all gonna be fine, super chill, and calms her down. While she, on the other hand, while she may get tense and nervous about something, she's also the person that makes sure they get places on time and makes sure they get things done. So in that way, she explained, sometimes the worst traits about someone are also their best traits and the ones you end up loving the most. So that's always an important thing to remember about yourself. Whatever, if you're like me and you analyze yourself a lot, you're probably finding some things that you think are pretty nasty about yourself, and yes, you should work on changing them. Everyone doesn't want to hear about story structure all the time. So, that is why your worst traits are also your best traits. Thank you for stopping by to The Epic Place, the channel where we talk about art and why nerdiness is cool. I'll see you next time, and I can't really do the salute because I'm painting my nails right now, but look, isn't that a pretty color? Anyway, until I see you again, always remember that we are epic heroes. We are epic heroes today and every day of our lives. And I'll see you, friend, in the next video. In fact, I think I'm going to just upload another video while I'm painting my nails because I'm not half done yet. Yeah. Bye!